Boston Bob, Willie. I'm sure you probably already got one eye on the Gold Cup a couple of years further down the line with him, but he's developed into a top novice and probably the strongest form of any Irish novice, would you say, after that win at Leopardstown?
Yes, he's always showed me plenty at home, and he's transferred that homework onto the racetrack very well. So he's in all the novice hurls, but we'll decide near the time whether he goes to the Neptune maybe or the Albert Bartlett.
And is it the ground that will help you make that decision? I see he has won a point on soft.
Yes, his pedigree suggests that he should be well able to go on better ground. I think we'll just see what we're doing with our other horses and what's in both of the races as well in England.
Lord Windermere towards the outside, then Sulisio, a slight mistake there just behind them. Beneficent on the inside of Il Fenomeno. Lord Windermere, Cash and Go and Captain Conan as they turn for home, and Beneficent is the leader from Il Fenomeno, Lord Windermere, and then Cash and Go straightening up for the final flight, and it's Beneficent and Brian Cooper out 3 lengths clear. Il Fenomeno, Sulisio stays on the outside, coming down out of the final flight in the Delight Novice Hurdle, and it's Beneficent and Brian Cooper 3 lengths to the good over Il Fenomeno and Sulisio on the outside. They're inside the last 200 yards now, and it's Beneficent still there in front. Sulisio is trying to cut into the lead, but it's Beneficent all the way now as they go towards the line. Beneficent and Brian Cooper will win the Delight Novice.
Sulisio, Willie, I know that mistake 2 out you thought might have been pretty costly in the final reckoning at Leopardstown. What sort of form's he been in since, and do you rate him as a big contender?
Yes, I mean he's got lots of stamina in his pedigree, so we might go for one of the longer races with him. I've been thinking we might go for the shorter race. I haven't decided which direction I'm going, but I do know he has a huge long stride. It was a funny race because we beat the horse that we set out to beat, and maybe just ignore the horse in front, and he might have he put in a good performance on the day, the winner. We won't take it away from him, but it leaves me in a bit of a quandary whether I should be going for a longer race, or we did show enough speed to beat the other horses. Maybe they had a bad day on the day and that's why we got by them, but I'd have to say I was a little disappointed.
And it's Boston Bob and Ruby Walsh who come to head Lyrene Legend. In third, Make Your Mark. On the run up towards the finish now, it's Boston Bob the leader. From in second place, Lyrene Legend.
Make Your Mark, Willie's another one. He travelled really strongly in the race at Leopardstown, just didn't seem to see it out quite as well as Boston Bob. How highly do you rate him?
That's right. I mean, he different type of horse altogether, but he's quite beneficial, which normally go on softer ground, but he might be one of those beneficials that go on better ground. So I imagine a staying race maybe for him as well.
A lot more to come from him potentially too, isn't there?
Well, he's not the big chasing type now. He won a point, but he's a very light-framed type of horse. So he is compared to the likes of Boston Bob, who you wouldn't having any trouble carrying 12 stone over 3 miles. This fellow's a different type of animal.
Dylan Ross just the leader from Midnight Game as they come to the last and over the final flight. Midnight Game on the near side, on the far side, Dylan Ross, and beginning to climb uphill towards the finish. It's Midnight Game, driven out by Davy Russell, will get the better of Dylan Ross.
Same owners have got Midnight Game, whose only entry is the Supreme. I presume he's on course to run there, is he?
I think so. He's showed me a huge amount last year before we put him away for the summer. Hasn't come back to that as good as that yet, but I think once the ground dries up, he'll come back to himself.
His only previous try in a Grade 1 was in the Royal Bond. Do you think he didn't show what he's capable of that day?
No, as I said, he shows me more at home than he shows on the racetrack, and I think just the soft ground on the racetrack is limiting his progress. Once he gets good underfoot conditions, he'll be fine.
It's an open renewal of that race this year. He's entitled to have some sort of a chance.
It is, and probably that race will be run on the softest ground that's going to be run at Cheltenham, because it's the first race the first day, and they will have all the watering done the previous week, and then they tend to let the thing dry up. However, they're what they call soft and we call soft are two different grades of ground, I think.
You've got lots of other entries there, Willie, without going into great detail. Allure of Illusion, we saw him. He likely to go?
He will love better ground as well. We took a chance running him on ground way too soft over a trip too long, and he dead heated. But that wouldn't put me off bringing him across for the Supreme Novice, so it wouldn't.
Lagenbank, Vesperville, Too Strong, they've all looked decent over hurdles.
Lagenbank probably won't be ready in time. He's back in training. We gave him a mid-season break. Vesperville would be a 3 mile horse if we get him across, so he'd be an Albert Bartlett, I think. And what was the third one?
Too Strong.
Too Strong, yes, he's interesting now. He's definitely good enough, so he would probably go for the Bartlett or the Neptune. He could fit anywhere now. He's a horse with a future, I think. Maybe as a chaser rather than a hurdler, but certainly if he's in form, Cheltenham week he'll travel, I think.
It is Simonon, a long way clear as they approach the last flight now. It's Simonon and Ruby Walsh safely over, and Ruby and Willie are quick to double up as Simonon will come home a most impressive winner.
Simonon, he's in the Supreme Novice and in the Neptune as well. I think he's fast enough, but yet he was a 1 6 horse on the flat, so he shouldn't have any problem staying a trip either.
And Ayob Charlie, who had been beat a couple of times, he won his maiden last time. Marisonian's another one. Possible?
Ayob Charlie is disappointing, but he's showing a far better. I think he wants a trip, and I think as the spring comes, he's getting better. Plus the fact that he ran such a good race in the bumper in Cheltenham last year, he made up a lot of ground from, say, the water fence up around the top of the hill, and still stayed on to be third. So I like a horse that can show a bit of form on the racetrack.
And just looking at the 4-year-olds, Willie, Ut de Civile was perceived as your number one hope for a long time, but have things changed now? Is Daroon maybe the number one?
Well, Ut de Civile did put in 2 good races, and before he ran disappointing the last time, I had flagged that he'd missed a bit of training, so I'm ignoring that run. And Daroon has improved from the first run and did everything right the second time, and looked like he was going to get beaten in Leopardstown and stayed on to win, jumping well. So those 2 will definitely go for the triumph, I think, anyhow.
And they both got form with Hissabat, who won the Grade 1 in Leopardstown, which must have given you a bit of confidence at least.
That's right. His form turned around when they put blinkers on him. He had a lot of experience over hurdles, remember. My fellows haven't, so I think they're going to improve as much. Maybe he's done all he's improving now with blinkers on in Leopardstown, and that might be his best run. That's why I'm hoping that we still have improvement left in the tank.